On this week's show, Beyonce's back on the leaderboard with her new dance cardio, and the Ivy Park apparel is launched.
And we asked for a rower, but they gave us a camera in Peloton's guide. And Cody dances his way into the semifinals in Dancing with the Stars, and much, much more.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. Here are your hosts, Amanda Siegel and John Pruitt.
Welcome to episode 60 of Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. I'm John Pruitt, joined as always by my co-host, Amanda Siegel. Hey, Amanda.
Hey, John. How are you?
Good. How are you after your quite a trip across the pond?
Where do I begin, my friend? Where do I begin? Firstly, I did want to apologize to all our regular viewers and listeners. We had all intentions of giving you a show last week from London, but unfortunately, we had some technical issues. And whilst both John and I did the record, there was some issues with the sound, and we couldn't release it to you guys. So, so sorry about that. I know that there were folks that were disappointed, and we'll throw in some of the new stuff from last week in this week's show, so that you guys won't miss out on too much. But I did want to just say that we were really, really sorry, and you have us back. Oh, John,
we had some good back and forth banter on that one. So
we did. We even had my flatmates jump in on the recording too, as they all stumbled in from the bar a little bit drunk on our first day. So I was sorry that you never got to see. I'm sorry that you never got to see them, but. Yeah, John, I have to tell you, it was the most phenomenal experience. We got really lucky. So, I know a lot of you watch the show regularly, but Leanne's Yes to You crew had put together a get-together in London. And there were about 8 or 9 of us that ended up... 7 or 8 of us that ended up coming out from the US to meet all our English friends, and it was, I have no words. I mean, it was probably 5 or 6 of the best days that I've had in a really long time. So I did want to share with you guys. A lot of you follow me on social media, and you got to see that I was very fortunate that I got to meet with a lot of the instructors. Nothing was arranged. They have pretty strict rules, and we respected those. So. We have hence found out, and John, you mentioned to me before we started recording the show that, Jen Sherman has shared that with you, in the past as well, that they don't really like the instructors fraternizing with the members.
But apparently it's frowned upon, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and you know what? When we realized... It is understandable. And I guess there's a question of where do you draw the line? If you say yes to John Pruitt, do you say no to Amanda Siegel? And how do you decide, who you're going to see and who you're not going to see? And, I think, John, the stars were kind of aligned for us. We just got lucky. It was the first time that the instructors had all met for a happy hour. And they happened to have been, we had stayed, the Airbnb that we had picked was right in Covent Garden. So it was right there in the center of everything. We were literally 5 minutes from the studio, and we planned it. We planned to be right there. It was a great area to stay in. And it was close to where the hotel was that the other folks that were coming in were going to be. And the area that we were all meeting on the Saturday night is called Seven Dials. So for those of you that watch the show that live in the UK, you must be familiar with Seven Dials. And they had all gone over there. It's a kind of like a big food court, John. So people can go and pick whatever they want. There are a couple bars, and then there's big tables in the center that they can get to sit at. And one of the girls who had come in, a UK girl who had come in for the weekend, had happened to have gone past Seven Dials to kind of check it out before our get together the next night. And lo and behold, they were all sitting in the food court.
Perfect timing.
Literally. It really was. It really was. There was a word that I taught everybody this weekend. It's a Yiddish word, a Jewish word called beshert, which means it's just meant to be. It was just meant to be, and so was it. So we got to. We got to hang out with Leanne, Ben, Hannah. Bradley was charging off to go and give a class. So he was leaving the crowd as we were arriving. And then the 4 tread coaches, John, who, I got to tell you, my friend, I have a newfound respect. I mean, they are truly solid, amazing people. I mean, they didn't know us from Adam. Clearly, they haven't had, the same experiences that Hannah and Ben and Leanne, et cetera, have had. And they couldn't have been more lovely. I will tell you, John, you and I have a name there. They know all about Pelo Buddy. And it was quite, and one of them, Jermaine, turned around and said, "We're not allowed to talk to you. You're Pelo Buddy."
You're the Peloton TMZ.
Right, I'm the Peloton
the
TMZ.
National Enquirer.
I mean, is that not crazy? But it was so funny, and he actually turned around. He goes, "How the hell did you know that I was joining Peloton before I knew that I was joining Peloton?" And we had a good laugh. And then Jocelyn turned around, or Susie turned around and said, "Yeah, that's right. How did you know?" And they were kind of bantering. Back and forth. So that was really cool. They're just solid folks. And then we had gone into, so the Harrods in London has a Peloton storefront
space,
and and there were just amazing. I mean, the 4 sales folks were absolutely incredible, and the store manager, who is now my best friend, but he Rodrigo had come up to me, and we were kind of, and the shirt that I'm wearing is actually from the Peloton London store, and they're the only ones that actually have London written on their apparel. So of course, the girls were like buying everything that was available. Absolutely. But we were kind of chatting back and forth, and we played, they have the big bikes and everything's on surround sound. So we were playing our rides, and our latest ones, I had just gotten that milestone ride.
That milestone.
We had it on. And he turned around to me, John, and he's like, "Oh my God, you're Pelo Buddy." And I almost took a step back, and it was like, "What?" He's like, "Oh, we talk about you in our meetings. You're Pelo Buddy."
Pelo Buddy has spilled the beans once again.
Right? And he was like, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk to you. We're always so nervous about what I said we're like the TMZ, but he was so lovely, and he wanted to take a selfie, and I felt like John Pruitt for a minute. It was a really amazing feeling. I had some celebrity status. It wasn't just Kenny Bania.
You had some cachet, baby.
I did. So that was really cool. That was really, really cool. And then of course we sauntered back and forth in front of the studio numerous times. We got to know the security guards and the production managers and the studio manager very well by the end of our trip. And on Monday or Tuesday at least, we were like, "I'm sure you guys are going to be so pleased to see us gone." You can now reduce your security by half because the 5 crazy Americans are going to leave. But it was truly an amazing experience. And John, you and I talk about this all the time. I mean, yes, it was fantastic to see the instructors, and they were so gracious and so lovely, and I can only say amazing things about each one of them. We bumped into Eric in front of the studio. We saw Bradley again, and he came over and chatted. And of course, we did arrange to kind of meet with Leanne as she was going into her class on the last night, so we could give her a hug and say goodbye. But, you know, it was the community. And I mean, you know, the 5 of us staying in the Airbnb, I was the only one that had a relationship and had met, you know, at least 4 of the girls. The others had never met. And it was amazing to see this community come together, you know, from all over the UK where folks had not met, and got to be with each other for the first time. So I am still on a high. You guys have me on quite a high. And it was an experience. And I do hope that more people do what we did. You know, I know that Hannah's Push crew are meeting in a couple weeks as well. So I do hope that more groups do what we did, because it kind of just puts it on another level, John. It really does.
Yeah.
So
I really want to go there next summer when hopefully the studio will be open and we can take Jackson.
Absolutely.
You know, on a trip. It would be fun to be, you know, it'd be fun to go there now, but it would be nice, you know, in the warmer,
for sure,
in the warmer months, especially when it's open and we can actually, you know, ride or run there.
Yeah. So the word on the street, John, is that it's April. They, I mean, don't quote me, but from what the studio manager and some of the folks were saying, that they're looking at getting members in by April. So first we heard January. But actually, when we were there, there's still construction going on in the London studio. They were actually just bringing in all the material on Monday to set up the reception desk, like as you walked in. So they don't have any of that in there right now. So they were bringing in, you know, the flooring and stuff to set up the reception desk. But yeah, so that's really exciting.
Did y'all happen to ask? Did you ask to see if they would let you in to see any of the? Yep. They said no.
We did, and they just said from a liability perspective they couldn't. They said because there was still construction going on, and they were so nice about it. I mean, they were really, you know, nobody was a jerk. I mean, everybody was just, you know, pleasant and friendly, and they were, you know, we'd love to let you come in, but, you know, you have to understand that unfortunately, you know, from a live. And we said, no problem. We were happy just standing outside. You know, it's in a great area. It's awesome. And we were happy to just do that.
Well, I'm sure from a Peloton member perspective, I'm sure that is by far the most action that they've had there since they've been closed for, you know, almost 2 years or however long. When everything shut down, so I'm sure they were sort of excited in a way that they actually members were milling around.
You know what, John? They really were, and it was interesting though, because I think the English are certainly far more quiet and reserved than the loud Americans, and you know who I went with, so we were there.
You had some Long Island. You had some Long Islanders, some loud Long Islanders.
We had some Brooklynites. We had some Long Islanders. We had Seattle. It was so it was, and it was funny though, because actually on the last day, a woman walked past, and she again saw me and said, "Oh my God, you're Pelo Buddy." And I looked at her, I said, "Are you kidding me?" And she goes, I watch the show every week, which was really cool to see how many folks actually do listen to us, John. So we're not wasting our time here each week as we, you know, agonize in trying to get this recording done. But she said, I've walked past here a million times and I wouldn't dare to stop, you know, to see if anyone. So we kind of laughed and we said, "Oh, trust us Americans to like be out there and make sure that we got to see whoever we could." So it was it was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So I know your week couldn't have been nearly as fun as my week, but of course I want to hear. No. You had a good week?
It's been a good week. So Jackie's been away since Wednesday.
Oh wow.
On another fun, you know, work trip that's more of you know, they do a little bit of mentoring and stuff with her athleisure wear business, but she's outside of Salt Lake City since Wednesday. She gets back in tonight. So I've been flying solo with Jackson, but I definitely did a lot of workouts this week. You know, just another week, but I've been having some good father-son bonding time with Jackson. So that's been nice.
That's awesome. And, that's awesome.
Maddie is walking around. Maybe she'll pop in and plop herself down next to me here at some point.
Hi. That's great.
But yeah, it's been
awesome.
It's been a good week.
Awesome. Well, folks, we'll go on, and as we always say, before we get started with the news, we always like to remind you how you can keep up to date with all of our content across all of our platforms. Every episode is released on our YouTube channel, so just hit the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand side of the video and hit the notify button never to miss an episode.
Yep, and we're on all traditional podcast platforms, so if you want to listen to us, just search Pelo Buddy TV. Hit subscribe, click notifications so you never miss an episode. And we always love to hear feedback, and we also love reviews. If you like the show, please leave us a review. We love to hear your feedback, and we love to read those great reviews that we receive from you.
Well, I got to tell you, John, as wonderful as it was to get reviews, and we definitely do encourage you folks to do it, it is kind of cool when you get it firsthand and you actually hear people tell you that they, on a Sunday afternoon, they sit down with their cup of tea and, screencast you and me on their TVs. And, an hour and a half later, they've caught up on all the Peloton news for the week. So that was really cool to hear people, and I'm going to give a shout out to my friends Sue and Cinco. The two of them were both, and Tony were like, this is our Sunday afternoon treat to get to hear what's going on Peloton wise. And of course, folks, we are on Facebook and Instagram. I know that those watching are definitely followers, but just search Pelo Buddy, follow us on all of those platforms so that you never miss an episode. I guess, John, let's get on with the show.
Let's go.
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
All right, so I am going to kick it off, folks. Peloton have officially announced their first connected strength product, the Peloton Guide. We have been talking about it on the show for some time. I believe we first reported it back in September on episode 53. I did go back and take a look. And we had also previously reported it under the code name Peloton Focus. We also knew that the
heart Tiger, rate, right? They called it the Tiger at one point too. And the Tiger.
The heart rate band. And they were actively, we knew that the heart rate band was actively being tested by members. So yes, you can say HIHF because you did hear it here first. But we are actually really thrilled that it's finally being released. So Peloton Guide is an AI camera that allows you to track and self-correct your form, your count reps, and actually see yourself on the screen and more. The cost isn't too bad. The strength product will be $495 US, $645 Canadian dollars, 450 pounds, 495 euros, and 750 Australian dollars. We expect the release to be early 2022. The package will also include that heart rate band that is being actively tested by members. How does it work, you ask? It seems that it's going to be as simple as plugging it into your TV and showing the classes and tracking the movements through your TV. So you won't need anything more than your big screen TV, which is fantastic. There are several individual features that the Peloton Guide has. They are Peloton Guide Movement Tracker, Peloton Guide Self Mode, Body Activity, and Voice Activation. The movement tracker will help with the rep tracking. So each repetition that you do, that's what that will help with. The self mode will feature and let you see and compare your form. The body activity is a report to show you what muscle groups you have recently worked on, so that you can kind of switch to something different the next time you jump on. And the voice activation feature allows you to use the guide in a hands-free mode. So basically, it wakes up the device, and then it allows you to start, stop, rewind, fast forward through a class, all by voice activation. So I'm actually really excited about it. I mean, what do you have you kind of looked into it this week, John? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm the polar opposite. I'm not really too crazy about it. It's funny. You say that the price seems reasonable. I think the price is kind of high. And
interesting.
I was reading, one of the very rare times I go on the official Peloton member page on Facebook, the comments were, for the majority, pretty negative about it. People seemed
disappointed
to be down on the price. Yeah, they just said, they were referring it to as a glorified, Microsoft Xbox Kinect or Kinetic, that gaming device that they call. So people didn't seem too crazy about it. Are you going to get it?
So it's interesting because Mark actually felt exactly the same way that you did. So he was like, I don't see the benefit of it. We had been looking into tonal. So we had been actively looking into tonal. And I think for me, why I said the price was reasonable is because tonal is so expensive. It's a big
but that's a big piece of hardware.
I know.
That's a big piece of hardware, though.
I get it. I
mean, this is almost like a little Apple TV that you plop down, in front of your TV. So that's kind of apples to oranges. I'm not interested in getting it. I would, if Jackie wanted to get it, because she's more of the strength. She does way more strength on the floor than I do. If she wanted to get it, I'd be all for it. I don't know how much I would use it, but I would say if they offered a 30-day kind of policy refund guarantee like they do with the bike and the tread, then I might buy it just to try it out to see if I would like it. But if they didn't offer that, then I don't know.
And I think, truthfully, John, they should. Because I think, I think that it is something that folks are going to have to, feel it out.
Yeah.
Maybe they're nervous that if they do that, then people won't, people will return it. So I guess that's kind of all just a wait and see. Look, it's supposed to be launched, next year. So we have, a couple more months to wait.
Well, in other news, Amanda, the pause button was finally released last week. So Peloton officially launched the pause button for on-demand classes for the Bike and Bike Plus last Monday. And to use it and to actually pause a class, you just tap on the bike tablet screen and you'll just see a large pause icon pop right up there. It'll hold your class. Your class will be paused. But right now it only works, just works on on-demand classes, like I said, for the Bike and Bike Plus. It's not available during live classes, and it's not currently available for the tread. But Peloton has said they are working to bring it to the tread, so keep an eye out. I'm sure it will be released very soon on the tread and Tread Plus. But just so you know, one caveat. If you pause a class, you'll lose your ranking on the leaderboard. You'll show up at the same spot you would have been at, before the Here Now. You would have in the Here Now section as ranked by your current output, but you won't have that leaderboard ranking if you did the class from start to finish without pausing it.
Makes sense. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair.
Absolutely. And you know what? As we said before, folks that want to use it. Folks that don't want to use it, don't use it. But I know there are people that are happy about having it out there. So I think it's cool. Yeah,
for, if you got to run to the bathroom or if you got a kid emergency, it's nice to have it there. I don't think I will personally use it. I don't do on demand that much, but I just... once I'm in a class on demand, I don't really ever have a need. A lot of times I have a need during a live class, especially on the tread. And this might be TMI, but when I'm running on the tread, every now and then, I always have a bathroom emergency. It's like when you're running, there's something. you get that code. You get that code.
Oh my goodness, that is too funny. Well, I'm telling you that it gives it all.
I hate that. And a lot of times it's on boot camp, so I try to hold it for when we get to the floor, so I don't my ranking. I don't dip down a bunch of spots on the leaderboard. I wait till the floor section.
Funny, John. You are too funny. That is too much. Definitely TMI. But I'm glad that you now can do that if you're doing an on-demand bootcamp. But as you say, you very rarely do on-demand, so it really wouldn't affect you too much. Well, I guess what you can do, though, now is you can use the scheduling feature because it is now finally on the hardware. So we all know that we've been able to do it on our, on our phones and tablets and that type of thing. But now you can actually view your schedule directly on the bike, or the tread, which is fantastic. You can actually also add to your schedule directly from there as well. So, and that's, again, as I said, it's for the bike class, the tread. The feature allows members to add any on-demand class to their custom schedule. And it's actually quite simple to use. All you need to do is on the Peloton device that you're using, choose a class you'd like to add to your schedule. Then under the class name, click the schedule icon. You can set your desired date and time to work out and select add to schedule. And then by going to the scheduled tab, members can then select your schedule button, which will show all of your scheduled content, both on demand and live classes. So just to add, this is in all fitness disciplines. So you're able to do it with not only, the tread and the bike, but you can add in your meditation if you want to add it into your schedule. You can add in your strength classes. So that is pretty cool.
It's nice.
That is pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, in video game news, Peloton will begin beta testing their video game, which we heard some rumblings about last summer. They had announced they were developing a Peloton video game that could be played on the bike and Bike Plus, tentatively referred to as Peloton Lanebreak. And the gameplay was described as you're racing on a track and you control your emoji character using your cadence and resistance. And they had said that there would be a beta program for it sometime this fall or winter, and the public release wouldn't be till sometime next year in 2022. But over the past couple of weeks, Peloton began surveying members via email to invite them to join the beta program. I know you had mentioned, we discussed this last week on our episode that was unfortunately left on the cutting room floor. I did receive an invite.
Yeah, I did get the invite, and since I'm not a big gamer, I chose to ignore it because it wouldn't have been something that I would have wanted to do. So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a gamer per se as well. So if it would be fun, I'll probably, try it out a couple times, but I'm sure it's just one of those novelty things that you probably, get bored with after a while. But it's just another cool thing. They're always adding, updating things. So it'll just be nice to have this extra feature, in addition to the scenic and just, the other library, the other wealth of, classes that we have at our fingertips.
Right.
Yeah.
Make it less boring and something, as you say, to mix it up.
Right.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, John, I don't know what's going on, but it has certainly been a rough week for Peloton stock. We've seen the stock price literally plummet from $97 back on October the 25th. To a massive drop on November the 5th, down to $58, a more than 30% drop. And at the time of the recording, the stock had dropped even further to under $50. So that has definitely got folks very nervous. Do we buy? Do we sell? What do we do? We also saw an immediate hiring freeze, which was reported by Lauren Thomas on CNBC. So last Thursday, November the 4th, Peloton had held their earnings call, and the lowered guidance was discussed, making them realize that they need some adjustments. One of those specifically mentioned hiring. And, guys, this is actually quite interesting, though, because as we had mentioned on one of the shows quite recently, I think it was just 2 weeks ago, Peloton's VP of Talent Acquisition had shared that Peloton had planned to hire between 3,000 and 5,000 employees over the next 1 to 1.5 years. So we had already seen that they had begun to scale back their plans internationally, and the new member support center in Ireland was being downsized. But we're not quite sure as to how long this hiring freeze will be in effect for and how many essential job positions, still might be filled. We'll certainly keep you guys updated as more information becomes available. But that definitely was something that really took, I think, a lot of people off guard.
Yeah, and I do know that in that recent earnings call that they had taken a pretty substantial hit financially from the Tread Plus recall. I think there was a massive loss that they reported of, God, I want to say around $346 million. So
yeah.
Obviously,
look, I think with everything coming back and, things are changing, they got lucky. And I think we probably all should have been aware of it. And I should have gotten out when the going was good, but it is what it is. And, as my husband who is very into stock and certainly, has so much incredible knowledge, he said to me, you got to own something that you believe in. And I do. I believe in the product. And I think that it may rally,
Well, as a stockholder, personally, I have no interest in selling. I mean, I still got in at the stock way below what it's currently, trading at around 50, 60.
Me too.
I'm only thinking now, is it a good time to buy it more? Because I haven't bought in more since I got in, in the teens. Whenever it was a year ago. So I'm just wondering if it's going to dip down. I'm just waiting for, if the opportunity's here, if I should, buy in more. So.
Makes sense.
I mean, everyone was riding so high during the pandemic, and obviously gyms coming back online. People are going out more. I did see reports that the Peloton showroom staff have taken some kind of significant reduction in salaries.
Wow.
So that's unfortunate to hear. But everyone's feeling the strain.
Yeah. Guess we'll wait and see what happens.
Yeah, so in other news that we will not be happy about, it appears that Peloton is set to make another change to the referral program starting January 1st, 2022. So currently, and for the past several years, you can refer, the primary account holder can refer up to 12 people for bike or tread purchases, and you receive that $100 referral credit, and they receive $100 towards any accessories that they add to their purchase of the hardware. But it now seems that Peloton has updated the referral program terms for 2022. So in a recent update on the Peloton blog website, someone spotted a slight change that for this year of 2021, you can refer up to 12 people per year for hardware purchases and up to 6 people per year starting January 2022. So that's a huge slash in how many referral credits we can receive. And this just comes just after, we recently talked about a couple episodes ago, they made a change now where only the primary account holder on your membership can receive referrals. Previously, you could have a couple people with referral codes that you could get referrals each. I know you had that, with Mark. He had his own code. So when you maxed out yours, Amanda, you could start giving out his code. So it looks like they're really tightening the belt around the referral program. I was really just because there's been no official post announcement about this from Peloton. It was just, sort of a quiet change on a previous blog posting that they had recently updated that we caught, and one of our members had made us aware of. So that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, John. So this past Thursday, November the 11th, was Veterans Day in the United States and Remembrance Day in the UK. And Peloton was celebrating on their Instagram. They had encouraged members to ride with a hashtag in their profile in support. They also had announced a new partnership with the USO, which includes a $100,000 donation to support their important mission to strengthen and connect the military, which includes transition and military spouse programs. There were 4 Veterans Day classes that were available. One of them was live, and the other 3 were on demand. So if you wanted to do a live class, you could have jumped on the 30-minute Alex Toussaint class that he held at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday evening. Marcel had a run, Kristen McGee had a yoga class, and Christine de Urkel had an on-demand 20-minute ride. So for those of you participating in the classes, you earned a beautiful Veterans Day badge. So if you haven't had a chance to do any of those classes, they are now on demand, and you can certainly jump on to get that badge. So that was good. Yeah.
Well, we also have a new holiday campaign out with the very first. I haven't seen it as a TV commercial yet, but I did catch it on YouTube. So Peloton just recently unveiled their 2021 holiday campaign and commercials titled "When Your Workout is a Joy, It's a Joy to Work Out." And CEO John Foley, he tweeted the first of the series, which apparently is going to be a 3-part series. So the first one is out right now. I've seen it on YouTube, and we obviously have it linked on pelobuddy.com if you haven't caught it yet. But they also put out a press release with the details about it, and they said, produced in proud partnership with creative agency Adam and Eve NYC, the 3-video series is a modern retelling of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, featuring actor and comedian Brett Gelman as Scrooge. The campaign showcases how Peloton is for everyone, including Scrooges, with enough fun and entertaining content that everyone can find joy and fitness. And the first one is funny because I recognize the actor immediately. If you don't know who Brett Gelman is by name, you'll recognize him right away because he's always in little bit parts of random comedy movies, and he's been on some different TV shows. But it starts out like, he's this Scrooge person shooing away people coming to his door, but then he's gifted a Peloton Bike Plus, and it shows him falling in love with it. So it was kind of cute.
Yeah, I thought it was very cute.
Yeah, it was funny. And they also, side note, they also released a little holiday apparel collection recently as part of the campaign. So this is the first holiday collection under the Peloton rebranded private label name, but instructors Rad Lopez, Kirsten McGee, Tunde are the models for it. There's some things like pajamas, some loungewear. There's also, I noticed there's a new ornament, a 2022 ornament, and
I think it was a beanie. I think there was a beanie. There was a black beanie.
Yeah. Yep.
I got it actually when I was in London. It's really cute.
I'll probably burn when I, decide to buy something new. I'll probably burn a code on the ornament, just to have that on the
Kinda
tree.
Cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we got a really fun and exciting drop on Wednesday. This was last Wednesday when they announced that they were expanding the collaboration with Spotify. This was a story we had hoped to report last week, but wanted to share with it this week because it really turned out to be something cool that Peloton had put together. So what they had done was they have a featured spot on Spotify's Workout Hub with all the awesome instructors curating their own playlists. So if there's somebody's music that you really like, you can head over to Spotify and you can actually get to download that specific instructor's music. So Ben has his belters and his bangers. And of course, Jen Sherman has her awesome, yacht rock music, I assume. I haven't actually heard what her playlist is like.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But as part of the launch, members also got to see a Spotify takeover, which they had on the platform. There were 11 classes, all set to Spotify playlists. And the lists were today's top hits with top pop music, Indigo, which features country music. There was Balia reggaeton with reggaeton music, Lofi Beats, which is just like chill instrumental. There was Door Knockers, which are women in hip hop. And we got to ride, run, stretch, do strength, and even a bike boot camp. So if you do want to go ahead and see that full list, if you didn't know about it and you're hearing about it now for the first time, definitely head over to pelobuddy.com because we have the full list of classes, right up there. And of course, don't forget, folks, if you do hear a song when you're working out that you like, make sure you heart it on the left-hand side, because then that way, that does then formulate your own kind of list that you can go back to with songs that you've really, like to hear. And then we did have it was cool to see that drop. They added a couple extra Ed Sheeran Artist Series classes also the week before last. So Ben had a 5-minute core strength class, and Bradley Rose actually had a 20-minute low impact ride, which I had put in for my picks of the week from last week because it really was fantastic. It was off his new album, and the music was incredible. If you do like Ed Sheeran, that popped up there. But then this week, we had the new drop of Beyonce classes. So on Wednesday, the 10th, Adrian and Callie did a 2-for-1 full body strength, which was live at 7:30. So Callie and Adrian were together and did that. Jess and Cody had dropped an on-demand dance cardio class, all again to Beyonce music. And Chelsea Jackson Roberts had a courage meditation, which again also dropped on demand. Next Friday, if you're watching the show this weekend, next Friday you can actually hit the streets with Kristen Ferguson in an outdoor walk. So we also saw the much talked about Peloton Ivy Park collaboration with the Ivy Park apparel, and that dropped this past week on Wednesday. I would love to hear what everybody's thoughts were. I have to be honest, guys, I was quite disappointed. The one set that I would have potentially bought, just to say that I had bought an Ivy Park set, was sold in 10 minutes. So we did tend to see that, where obviously they didn't make enough of what it was. So in the US, it did end up selling in 10 minutes. But I was disappointed. What did you think, John?
I think this is probably the most overhyped apparel collection to date. And I'm basing that on my experience with the earlier Adidas collaboration that they did earlier in the year, based on the couple of pieces that I got. I think aside from the leggings and the tights, everything is cut so big, and just the sizing is completely off from what I am normally used to, especially on the unisex stuff. So I'm not going near that. And I did reach out to my local showroom in Michigan, and apparently the showrooms aren't getting any of it, because I was
interesting.
If I was going to buy any of the clothing, I would want to try it on first. The only thing that struck my interest were the sneakers, the Adidas sneakers, which to me were really overpriced at $200. So even if I burned a referral code on it, I'm still $100 out of pocket. But my size, I'm a size 12. They were already sold out, I was surprised. So I feel like they really overhyped this. They probably had very small quantities to make it seem like the demand was so high. I'm just, and like all the instructors are just promoting the hell out of it. And it was funny to see Adrian in that live class with Callie, because he was wearing, and it looked pretty big on him, but he was wearing one of the long sleeve Adidas, the yellow Ivy Park shirts. And the only thing I could think about was how uncomfortable he was wearing these long sleeves, because Because if you know Adrian, he never wears sleeves in his. This might be the first workout he's done with sleeves, with long sleeves, let alone sleeves. But, he loves to show us as much side titty as possible because he not only cuts his sleeves off, he cuts like way around the armpit, as much as possible. So I just thought it was hilarious that he was wearing one of the long sleeve Ivy Park shirts. But
it is quite funny.
No, I think it's overrated. And not for me. I'm sure some people are excited. Just some of it, just not crazy about any of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just hope they do a sale, around Black Friday in a couple of weeks. Last year they didn't do one because they were so focused on fulfilling, the bike issues, the supply chain issues with the Bike Plus. Peloton had said there'll be no major sale, around Black Friday. So it'll be interesting to see if they do a 50 off apparel sale like they've normally done the past several years. I even direct messaged the Peloton Apparel Instagram page. I put a comment on one of the recent posts for the Ivy Park collections, crickets, which is kind of annoying. They see it, but they're only gonna respond to comments that they want to respond. So you'll just get radio silence otherwise, which is kind of annoying. Yeah, so we'll wait and see about the sale. Hopefully we get that juicy 50% off discount. But now with the private label, who knows? I'm not going to hold my breath.
I can only imagine that they have a lot of. I can imagine they probably do have a lot of a lot of stock that they're going to want to get rid of. So I guess we'll have to see. But as far as the Ivy Park, I was a little disappointed. I mean, we kind of knew it was coming. They just like hyped it, like the hype train just pounding me in the head with all this Ivy Park stuff over and over. I was like, okay, I'm just, wasn't crazy. I wasn't crazy about the previous one that they did, and this is just same thing.
Pass.
All right, what's up next?
So Emma Lovewell, she's going to be dropping new core classes every Thursday morning. So starting this past Thursday, the 11th, she dropped a new 10-minute intermediate core strength class. It dropped on demand, so I'm guessing it'll be an on-demand, drop. She does teaches coach to camera because she has some live classes now that she's on the regular schedule doing rock rides on every Thursday morning. But yeah, if you're into the core stuff, I know it's a burner for me. They really pack it in, even on a 10-minute core or a 5-minute core that I've done with Rad Lopez. So yeah, that one is already out there. If you haven't done it, check it out. It's it's in the strength library of the app.
Sounds good. And then on a kind of feel good story, Microsoft had published an article this past week on how Peloton offers more than just a challenging workout. It actually allows members who are deaf to a connection and a community by offering subtitles for its on-demand classes. And what we've just seen more recently is that they are now providing that same technology, and they're using something called Microsoft's Azure Cognitive Services speech-to-text and translation technology for deaf or hard-to-hearing members who would now see their subtitles on a live class. So it's just improving the accessibility even further. And Peloton's Vice President of Software Engineering, Suresh Bathini, said in an interview that introducing these live subtitles class actually proved to be a bit murkier than anticipated. And I'm direct quoting from the article. They said that the primary challenge was determining how automated speech recognition software could facilitate Peloton's specific vocabulary. So kind of including the numerical phrases, used for class countdowns to set resistance and cadence levels. I have to say, personally, I think they've done a pretty good job. Every now and again, you'll see leaderboard names, that will come up and they won't be what they really are. That'll be a little bit off. But for the most part, you can really follow along. And it certainly helps for doing a class with Daniel McKenna.
Oh, yeah.
Because his accent is pretty thick and it's sometimes hard to understand what he's saying. So it is nice. Even Hannah Frankson, every now and again, people don't understand what she's saying. So it was a really good article. They featured a Peloton member who was deaf, who said, getting the bike was like, getting a kitten or opening a gift on Christmas Day. And he was, one of the reasons he got Peloton was, the ability to have these subtitles. And now he's so thrilled because, as we've just said earlier in the show, how much we enjoy doing live classes, and now it gives those folks the ability to do that as well. So yeah, and I guess that pretty much wraps up the news stories, but there are instructors in the news, and you go first, John.
Let's talk about, I know you're away on your travels, so you missed this week's Dancing with the Stars, but Cody, he and Cheryl Burke have danced their way into the semifinals. So this past week, it was Janet Jackson week, and it was a double elimination, so 2 couples were sent home. But Cody and Cheryl, they danced to Janet Jackson's Black Cat. They danced the Paso Doble. And I would say it was their best their strongest performance yet, visually and technically. And it reflected that in the judges' scores finally. They got their highest score yet. They got a pair of 10s from head judge Len and from Carrie Ann, and they got a pair of 9s. I was hoping for after they read the 2 10s, I was hoping they would get a perfect score, but they got a set of 2 9s from Derek and Bruno. The couples, the one couple I know that went home, Amanda, was my least favorite couple, who I've told I can't stand.
You've been very vocal
Olivia
about John.
Jade.
You have been very vocal.
So she's gone. I couldn't even tell you who the other couple was because I was excited that Olivia Jade finally went home.
I think it was Jimmy. It was Jimmy.
Okay.
I did find out who. Yeah. And I actually did end up watching the clip just so I could contribute a little bit today. I watched on YouTube. They do have the dances of each of them, and I have to say that it was brilliant. But I got to tell you, I take my hat off to Cody. I will share this much, John, because, I was actually with, so one of the girls that I was with is a dancer, and she said, Cheryl she's tough. She's definitely, firstly, she's heavy, and I think there was a part in the dance where he had to kind of swing her around. And that must have been really hard for him to have done. But you know what? We think that she's. I think you and I spoke about that maybe last week, and we didn't get that recorded. But she's done. She needs to move on and give some of the younger ballroom dancing folks an opportunity to present, because there is no chemistry between them.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned, and the choreography is just, compared to the other couples, it's just, and that falls on Cheryl, and that's also why JoJo's going to win. Everyone's been saying that, but the fix is in. She definitely has the most popularity on social media, but the judges have been in her corner since day one. And their dancing is I would say it's just more exciting. Compared to Cody and the rest of them. So I think it's going to come down to Cody and JoJo. It's shaping up that way, and I think it's great that he's making this full run. He hasn't faced elimination once in a single week, and JoJo, they faced elimination at one time as well, which was surprising.
But John, we've said it before. We've said it before on the show. There's no question that it's the community that keep. I was in London at 3:00 in the morning because there was a 5-hour time difference, and we were all voting. We literally stayed up just so we could vote, and put our votes in, and felt like we had done our bit. And we were able to because we had American phones, obviously. But I think they're staying in because of the community. So it's interesting.
I will. I am so looking forward though, and Cody is too, because he said on last week's his live ride, he was saying I've got 18 days at most left until I'm back home. And I just miss, the live from LA classes, while it's nice, the novelty's kind of worn off. The sound is very low. I just did I did a live one on Wednesday, and I had the sound turned all the way up on my earbuds, and it still sounded really low. I'm just looking forward to getting the full production back in the studio, and I really miss my bike boot camps with him, because those are so much fun, and he's not doing those, and we're just getting 30-minute classes, while he's there at the Pasadena showroom. So I'm looking forward, and it'll all be wrapped up by Thanksgiving week. So we're in the home stretch now.
So we'll get him back another couple of weeks.
What do you got now?
So both Robin Arzon and Mariana ran the New York City Marathon this past weekend, which was really impressive. Of course, their teammates were out in full force. It was so amazing to see how they were all there with their signs and their posters and, cheering them on. So that part, I have to say, was really cool to see. And congratulations to both of them. I mean, I take my hat off to them, and I'm going to put it out there. I can't actually believe that I'm saying this. But now that I have these new tread coaches to run with, I am contemplating in training for a marathon.
Oh, geez.
I had a girlfriend reach out to me this past week who said she wants a buddy, and would I do it with her? And, I put it to Mark, and I said, do you think I'm absolutely nuts? And he said to me, you know what, Amanda? If you put your head to it, you can do it. So we'll see. We'll see. I think that I am going to start the Road to 26.2, your program that Peloton have out there. And I'm going to see how I do. And maybe it won't be next year, but I think I'm going to do it, John. So I got to tell you, after watching Robin, I mean, I know how many marathons had she done? I mean, tons, right? I mean, she's done quite 27 marathons. Thank you, control room. Yeah. That's insane. So we'll see. It may just be a one and done that I do it. Same as when I jumped out of a plane, it was one and done. But hey, you know what? If you
only live once,
put your mind to it. Justin Thompson Rule actually had something really awesome. She's a big motivational speaker, and she wrote a book, and she said it's all about mind. It's all about mind thinking and how you put your mind to something. And instead of saying I can't do it, figuring out how you can do it. And, I read that she just had it on her social media this past week. And, after seeing that, believing that you can do something, and you put your mind to it, maybe I'll be able to do it. So I'm putting it out there, Pelo Buddy friends. And who knows? Can't convince you to join me, John?
Never. I'm just keeping it real.
Did you say that quick enough?
Dude, it would take a lot of convincing just to get me to convince me to train for a half marathon. So
I know. Maybe I should start with a half marathon before I get to a full one. But I'm
down for a 5K, and that's enough. I've done 5Ks before with my previous company in Chicago, and that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we'll see. I'm putting it out there. We'll see. Look, if Tony Sinkinson can do it, and let me tell you, I'm so impressed and proud of him, then anybody can do it. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm just putting it out there. But the news of the day was, and our instructor in the news is that huge congrats to both Robin and Mariana. Really, really amazing job.
Yes. Yeah, so Tunde Oyanen recently announced a partnership with Nike. So she's going to be a new brand partner. A lot of instructors recently. Olivia with Puma, Alex with Puma as well, and some other ones. I want to say Ali with Adidas. Tunde just announced, her being a partner with Nike, and also she was featured in an article on Shape.com. And the part of the press release says, as part of her work with Nike, Oyanen will share her unique story of progress in fitness and in life, editorially through the Nike brand platform to make fitness more accessible and inclusive for women around the world. Nike has a massive global platform, and my mission is to be able to use that platform to speak to our shared ambition, which is to bring more women and girls into sport and to empower them on their journey, Tunde says. So, expect big things. The book announcement coming up recently. I think we mentioned that on the
I was actually going to bring it up. I was going to bring it up. But it's pretty awesome.
A lot of great things happening for Tunde lately, and I love. She's one of the instructors that over the past year I've just really gravitated towards through her boot camps and her rides, and I love her on social media, her positivity. So. She's just one of the ones that I've really kind of fallen in love with. Awesome. One of the newer instructors, her and Kendall especially, but good for her.
Yeah.
And, Robin, she also received an award, from Glamour magazine, the first ever Daring to Disrupt award, which was presented by Ally, the company who's a Woman of the Year presenting sponsor. This is what they had to say. Robin has always been a strong leader, building Peloton and her personal brand to new heights. The spokesperson was quoted as saying, as an author, coach, mom, marathon runner, and top instructor, she inspires her fans to live happy and authentic lives, but daring to share her joy and her challenges as a pregnant athlete and a powerful executive, she breaks new ground in women's representation. And she had just mentioned it on her Wednesday. I did her live Wednesday 45-minute intervals and arms, and she had just mentioned, how proud she was to receive that award in the class. But kudos to Robin.
Awesome. And yet again, Kendall actually made it into print. This week, she hit the pages of people.com, talking about how she prioritizes her mental health on hard days, stating that it's just human. It was a truly amazing article. She's partnering with Aloha, which is a plant-based protein brand to promote health and well-being. And she's looking at it from the inside out. She says that's a really important aspect of what she looks at in her health and fitness. So it was wonderful to see yet another article, with Kendall being so real and sharing, her journey, in her mental health battle and how she's come out on the other side. And, she says it doesn't get easier. It just, one learns how to manage it and what the right things are to kind of move forward. It's not going to go away. I mean, mental illness doesn't go away. It's just a question of how we manage it.
How to deal with it. And how to deal with it in a healthy way. Definitely.
Yeah. And then just to add 2 bits from last week, which you guys didn't get to hear about, and I think we do need to mention, as John had said, Tunde announced that she had wrote this amazing book called Speak. It's being published and will be released in May of 2022. She had shared the news on Instagram saying that she was really excited to share the book with members, with folks. She'd been dreaming about doing that since the 3rd grade. She said that the book is me, my words, my story. She said when she teaches a class, she's leading riders forward with words and directions, and she hopes that she would be inspiring. So, people are really talking about the book and looking really forward to that coming out and to get to hear what she is, because she is incredibly motivational, but not in a preachy way. I think that the way that Tunde does motivate folks is just in a raw, beautiful way. And she's just a beautiful, beautiful woman. And then I did want to give her a shout out, but Emma has just launched a new jeans thing.
Custom jeans line.
line. So she spread her wings and collabed with Scene clothing in designing, as John just said, custom-made jeans. She was actually featured in Vanity Fair. And she said that if she isn't wearing spandex and lycra, you'll see her in a pair of jeans that are probably ripped up with holes in them. So collaborating in creating these custom-made jeans really did make sense to her. We also heard this week that yoga instructor Kira Michelle is actually taking some time off. Apparently, she has a wrist injury, and she actually won't be able to practice. So really speedy recover to Kira, and hopefully she gets back on the mat, because I know that folks really enjoy her yoga practicing. And talking about yoga, Aditi celebrated a birthday, and as you guys know, she's my fave now on the floor. So she just celebrated a birthday, as did Mila Kind. So happy birthday to those two. And I guess that wraps up the news, John. Yeah, next is picks of the week. I only have 3 quick ones, so do you want me to go first?
Yeah, keep it short and sweet.
Right. But you can all get excited because you will now be getting my picks from the tread. I am going to definitely be moving more to the tread with these amazing coaches that I got to hang out with over these past few days. And I'm absolutely obsessed with them. So my first pick is just a fun 20-minute run from this past Wednesday, the 10th, with the absolutely gorgeous Husky. John did a 90s run, and it was to songs Hanson's Mbop, Mbop, Lauryn Hill's Doo-Wop, Daria G's Carnival de Paris, and ending with Sheryl Crow's Every Day is a Winding Road. So if you just want some fun, a quick fun run, 20 minutes, I really didn't want it to end. The music was fantastic. So definitely my first pick of the week. Next is a 30-minute beginner's hit and heels, also from Wednesday. And this was Susie Chan's. I think it was definitely Ed Sheeran's Take Me Back to London that won me over and was the reason I loved that run so much. But it was a beginner hit and heels, and I think for somebody that's just starting out like myself and kind of progressing, it really was a great one to do. Huge shout out to my absolute hero, Tony Sinkinson. Cinco himself celebrated his 300th run on the platform on that run. So I was dying to do it live with him. I wasn't able to, so I did jump on and do it separately.
Yeah, congrats, Tony.
Yeah. And then, yes, Leanne again, her 30-minute disco ride from last Sunday was insane. From Don't Leave Me This Way by Thelma Houston to Ring My Bell by Anita Ward, Boogie Shoes by Casey and the Sunshine Band, to Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive. I mean, come on. I will share sneakily that the 6 of us in the Airbnb actually had it all on our apps live, as we knew we couldn't miss it. But doing it on demand when I got home was exactly what I needed. So if you want just a fun disco ride, that's my pick.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with disco. It's always a fun
sure.
vibe. Well, I'm going to get the majority of my picks were the ones that I gave in last week's episode that we weren't able to air. It was a full week of workouts, but there really weren't any really significant standout ones to me this week.
Okay.
I'm throwing in one in particular that definitely stands out, but the rest of them were just, they were okay. They were good. But the previous week before that, like I said, I'm going to kick it off with Ben's 20-minute techno ride. This is the first ride of its kind on the platform, so he was super pumped about it. Great beats. There's one particular track from the 1996 film Trainspotting, which I loved. That was my favorite part of the ride. And then I do have to double dip with him. So Ben's 30-minute 80s rock ride from Tuesday, November 2nd. That one was just a lot of fun, classic 80s rock tracks, but Loverboy's Working for the Weekend was my favorite from that one. Techno Ride, I can't remember if I said, but it was from Monday, the 1st of November, 20-minute techno. And then Bex Gentry's 20-minute 2000s run from Thursday, November 4th. Just great run. She's a great coach. And Amanda, if you're going to get serious about the marathon training, I know you love the Brit tread instructors, but she's also really popular with the super hardcore marathoners in terms of her training. They all seem to just to love her instruction.
She does start off that whole program. So when I took a look at it, she actually she's part 1 of the road to 26.2. So yeah. So
one particular track from that run was One Republic's Apologize, which is, that song was all over the radio in the early 2000s. And now going to the bike, I got Emma 30-minute classic rock ride from Thursday, November 4th. You've got, it's not really, it almost doesn't seem like classic rock. Some of the instructors have, they have their own definitions of what classic rock falls under, when it ends and when it begins. To me, like classic rock ends in the 70s. But still, all the tracks were fun. She had Playing with the Boys by Kenny Loggins. You'll recognize that from Top Gun, from the shirtless volleyball scene with Val and Tom Cruise. And she even gave us a double dose of Bruce Springsteen. We had Glory Days and Born in the USA on there. And then from this past week, I'll give it up to my number one, Jen Sherman, JSS. She had a 20-minute 80s ride from Tuesday the 9th. That was just, I love the 80s. So I never go wrong with 80s rides. But, she had a little bit of modern English, Billy Joel, Bananarama. But the standout from that one, Amanda, was from Peter Cetera. From the band Chicago, but this is when when he went solo and left Chicago. His song, as featured in the hit movie Karate Kid Part 2, "Glory of Love," and I've never heard that song in any Peloton class, but that's just such a great love song. But a fantastic ride, and 20 minutes it flies by. But that was my favorite track by far, because that's a great song.
Awesome.
So there it is. Yeah.
So there's some great picks of the week. Well, folks, you definitely got a ton from John and I today. So from the news to the instructors in the news to my, to my enthusiasm from
your
my
travels,
trip.
In London.
Yeah. You know what? A lot of people did reach out and say, I hope you're going to share your trip. I hope you're going to share what you did. So I just gave you guys a snippet of that. And thank you everybody for the lovely comments that I got throughout the time that I was there. People were lovely, so thank you so much for that. So I guess that about wraps it up, John.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I guess from me here in Florida this week, I literally came from London to Florida. I will see you guys all next week. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye for now, everybody.
And for me here in Michigan, thank you for watching, listening to us, and as always, we will see you on the leaderboard.
Thank you for watching Pelo Buddy TV, your source for everything Peloton, by the community, for the community. Work out with us using the Pelo Buddy TV leaderboard tag, and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pelo Buddy. Don't forget that we have a podcast available so that you can listen to us while on the move. Just search for Pelo Buddy TV on any major platform and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.